Okay, back to our live action for one of our feature matches of the night, I think, Ed. The 145-pound championship match. And in the black singlet, Joe Carr Jr. from Lexington, Kentucky and Woodford County High School, a 5-time state finalist, a 4-time state champion, and his opponent in the light and dark blue singlet, Griff Powell from Suffern, New York, a 2-time state champion, a 4-time place winner, and boy, these guys have pedigrees a mile long.
Wow, was this weight class loaded. My God. For these two kids to get to the finals, they beat some incredible talent. And I don't expect it to stop right here, Rob. I expect to see that high shot, that total pressure throughout the match that got both these wrestlers here.
You think about two guys that you're going to see as they go off the edge, no score. Two guys you're going to see in the future in the NCAAs, in world team trials, and in those upper levels of wrestling. You think of two guys like this. They've come through the ranks. They're here in the finals, and they really have given us a lot of thrills over, not only over the year, but throughout their entire careers and in years to come. Still no score. Minute gone in the first period. Joe Carr, one of the coaches in his corner. Joe Carr Sr., the Carr family, a very famous wrestling family in Pennsylvania. 6 of 9 Carr brothers that wrestled in college and beyond. And his Joe Carr Sr., a 2-time NCAA All-American at the University of Kentucky. And, of course, they still live in that area and have brought Woodford County High School to a very high level of wrestling in Kentucky. And Joe Carr Jr., a 4-time state champion, and he'll be going to West Virginia University next year, where his uncle, Nate Carr, a former Olympian and a 3-time NCAA champion, is one of the coaches.
I even hear, Rob, that they have a dog and a cat that have won quite a few state and national titles in that family. Just, you know, and to know the Carrs, great bunch of guys, and watching Joe Carr throughout his career here, and Griff Powell, you know, you're looking at two obviously different body builds and two different styles. A lot of sparring that first period. Just seeing what's going on.
Scoreless first period between two guys who've obviously seen each other a lot and certainly respect the talents of each other, and it'd be interesting to see how this match develops these last two periods. Griff Powell from Suffern, New York, also committed during the November signing period. He'll be attending the University of Illinois. Powell, an Illinois native, grew up in youth wrestling in Illinois and moved to New York just before the start of high school, and he was a standout in New York. And Fred Ambrose, the official, telling Joe Carr not to come down on him so hard to start the starting position.
It's something kids will do. They'll lay into the position it's known as, and a couple cautions against Carr. Powell, nothing fancy. Blowout stand-up facing Carr, 1-0.
And you saw the hand control there right away. He broke those hands in a hurry, got the hips out and away, and got the escape. 1-0 the score in favor of Griff Powell of Suffern, New York, the 2-time New York State champion. And boy, quite a match in the semifinals between Griff Powell and Mike Shingara, the 3-time Pennsylvania State champ. And both wrestlers now warned for stalling. Fred Ambrose wants to see some action, and Griff Powell spins behind for the takedown. He leads 3-0.
Just a basic head snap there, Joe. Little shot with his head down. Griff Powell, quick snap, spin behind, 2, score 3-0.
Well, a 8-2 victory by Griff Powell in that semifinal match over Mike Shingara, a wrestler who has been nothing short of impressive in 4 years in Pennsylvania. And now a stall warning, a stall penalty, his second against Joe Carr Jr. on the bottom, and 4-0 now the lead for Griff Powell, and he's really broken on top here in the second period, and we'll have to see what kind of comeback skills Joe Carr has.
Joe's going to have to get his head off the mat, and I know that's what Freddie Ambrose is doing, is he's telling him, you got to get something going. The head down and no movement. Griff Powell smartly changing angles, not staying parallel, moving real well with them. Joe Carr actually fighting his body build on the bottom, and I can understand that. You have pressures that Powell is putting on. It's kind of hard. You're afraid to get your base up on you, and we have injury time. Joe Carr.
10 seconds left in the second period, and 4-0. As you see Joe Carr needing some medical attention. 4-0 the lead for Griff Powell of New York. And we saw in that semifinal match between Powell and Shingara just how tough on top Griff Powell is. And he's shown more of that here in the second period. He is riding Joe Carr very tough, and Carr is having trouble even getting his head off the mat and getting something going, trying to get off the bottom.
Griff Powell on top is very disciplined with how he changes. That's very important. His pressure never leaves. He's changing his tilts. He's changing his inside control. That's hard. It's very, very hard to get an offense going. I can almost sympathize with Joe Carr trying to get something going. He's like, oh my God, it's constant pressure down, and also, I feel him trying to turn me. Very difficult.
Well, Joe Carr's tried the stand-up and then the roll. Neither of them worked, and it's 4-0 going to the third. And certainly, if you're looking at candidates for outstanding wrestler, if this score holds up, certainly Griff Powell is going to get an awful lot of votes. Certainly, we do award an outstanding wrestler in this tournament. And with the third period option, Joe Carr takes the neutral position. He doesn't want any more of Powell on the mat, so he wants to try and work on the feet. He tries a shot from far away, and Powell counters, spins behind, and it's 6-0.
Same exact takedown. Joe Carr a little bit far away, got way overextended. Griff Powell, great body position, drops back, pulls him forward, head snap, go behind, 2-point takedown.
And now it looks like it is a loss of control awarded by Fred Ambrose, and now 6-1. They'll start on their feet. Just over a minute left to go here in the third period, and Griff Powell of Suffern, New York, the two-time New York State champion, has things his way. 6-1 is his advantage. Powell in on the double leg now, switches off to the single, and nothing doing there. Joe Carr fights it off.
Powell must feel something when he's getting in there that deep. Maybe Joe Carr sinking his hips in, and he kind of bailed out of the double, and then he bailed out of the single. And if you're in there and you get that hip thrown at you, you know something's coming. I'm not real sure. Boy, he's letting Powell in pretty easily.
Right in away again. Griff Powell trying to finish a swing single, and potentially dangerous situation with the knee called by Fred Ambrose with 34 seconds left to go. Once again, both these wrestlers, as you see Griff Powell with the 6-1 lead, signed during the November signing period. Both two of the highly recruited wrestlers in the country. Joe Carr going to West Virginia next fall, Griff Powell going to the University of Illinois next fall, and Carr with the shot that's stopped by Powell, and he's trying the butt drag and trying to spin behind, and he gets the takedown. And it looks like it's going to end up with an 8-1 decision for Griff Powell. Final seconds tick off, and there it is.
That was a hard-earned national title by Griff Powell.
Very tough weight class, and Griff Powell, by a score of 8-1, comes out on top. Second place to the four-time state champion from Kentucky, Joe Carr Jr. Outstanding match at 145 pounds. In a moment, we'll be having Griff Powell visiting with George Von Benko, and we'll also be giving the awards to the 140-pound All-Americans.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of our All-Americans at 189 pounds is Bradley of Illinois. Before the regionals his junior year...
These are the championship finals of the 8th Annual National High School Wrestling Championships from the A.J. Palumbo Center.
They must have been
on the campus of Duquesne University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Rob Sherrill, Ed Ferraro, George Von Banco bringing you the 14 championship matches. And now we're going to throw it to George Von Banco. He's got Griff Powell, the 145-pound champion, alongside.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm joined by the champion at 145 pounds, Griff Powell, two-time state champion out of New York. And you had a tough road to win this championship. Shingara and then Carr, two real tough wrestlers.
Some tough kids. Like you said, in the semis I had Shingara, who's a three-time Pennsylvania state champ. And anyone knows wrestling knows to win it once in Pennsylvania is pretty tough. So he was a tough kid. And then Carr, four-time state champ, tough kid too. So it was a good tournament.
Well, you showed up well. What was your game plan coming into this match, and did it work well for you?
Yeah, I was just trying to keep good position. I know he doesn't do much, so like I said, I just try to keep good position, work the center of the mat, try to gas him so I could score points in the third. That's about it.
Well, this has to be a big highlight for you, capturing a national championship.
Oh yeah, it means a lot to me. I've been working for a long time for this.
And of course, you continue your collegiate career in the Big Ten at Illinois. You're looking forward to that too.
No question about that. Yeah, I've always wanted to wrestle in the Big Ten, and now I get a chance to. So I'm excited about it.
That's Griff Powell, our champion at 145 pounds. Let's go back to Rob and Ed.